Randy Robert Stair was born on a rainy Thursday in September 1992 and entered kindergarten already nervous about other children's stares. His mother kept every crayon drawing. Many showed dim hallways patrolled by friendly ghosts. By 12 he had a cheap camcorder and a YouTube login, filming plastic sword battles with neighborhood kids who quickly grew bored while Randy stayed behind to edit sound effects until midnight. He reached junior year at Dallas High with a B average, a driver's license he seldom used, and a terror of locker room chatter about girls he did not dare approach. The guidance office recommended Penn College's animation program, but he froze at the thought of dorm life. Instead, the summer after graduation he filled out a 2-page application for Weis Markets, stapled a reference from his cousin, and was hired for the overnight crew at $8.20 an hour. Victoria Brong, by contrast, radiated effortless warmth. She grew up in the same county, majored in elementary education at Bloomsburg, then pivoted to retail management because the student loan statements came faster than teaching positions. To coworkers, she was the one who brought cupcakes on birthdays and stuck googly eyes on the breakroom microwave. Terry Lee Sterling had retired from a factory that produced electrical connectors, tried living on Social Security, and after 3 listless months at home returned to work for gas money and gossip. Brian Hayes served 4 years aboard the USS Iwo Jima, married his high school sweetheart, fathered 3 kids, coached Little League, and took the night manager slot because it paid the mortgage and left daytime free for family errands. The 4 of them converged on a single schedule the first week of June 2017, unaware that one of their number had decided that ordinary life must end in a hail of buckshot. Throughout 2016, Randy's private notebooks thickened. He pasted stills from Columbine surveillance footage next to pencil sketches of his animated alter ego, Andrew Blaze, each captioned with musings on destiny and freedom through violence. A diary entry dated December 3 reads, "I walk the aisles already dead. Only the guns will prove it." By February 2017 he was probing Pennsylvania firearms laws, learning that pistol-grip shotguns skirt the definition of a regulated long gun. On April 27 he bought the first Mossberg at Stilson's gun shop, paying cash saved from 7 Christmas season double shifts. The clerk scribbled model and serial number, ran the instant background check, and bagged the weapon with a free trigger lock Randy never used. He filmed himself unboxing it beneath a poster of Ember's Ghost Squad, whispering, "Welcome home, beautiful." In May he scheduled dozens of YouTube uploads to publish automatically after a set date. Monologues, animations, even a cut of his favorite Danny Phantom episode interwoven with funeral hymn pipe organ. The final video in the queue was titled, "See You Soon." He also began overdosing on diphenhydramine. A laboratory diary page shows hash marks and dosage notes. 50 milligrams 75, 100 until 24-hour hallucinations blurred wake and sleep. On May 31 he recorded a 4-minute clip in which he tells the camera, "Even when I blink, the room glitches. That means I'm halfway to ghost form." Thursday, June 1, he purchased a second Mossberg from the same shop. He asked for 1 box of rifled slugs and 9 boxes of 2 3/4-inch buckshot, explaining he wanted to compare patterns. Surveillance shows him rehearsing pump action cycles in his bedroom mirror, counting the clack-clack cadence like a metronome. He drew a floor plan of the Weis layout, marking Victoria's usual aisle, Terry's produce cart path, Brian's desk, and the location of 4 50-pound propane cylinders near the deli. Next to each cylinder he penciled possible fireworks. June 7 dawned bright. Randy spent the morning cataloging his possessions, sticking yellow notes labeled trash, keep, burn, on everything from high school yearbooks to external hard drives. At noon he set his phone alarm for staggered reminders. Delete browser history, schedule tweets, wipe fingerprints from shell belts. Dinner at home unfolded politely. His mother reheated lasagna. His father asked about Phillies season standings. Randy nodded, silently reciting shot sequences in his head. At 8:13 p.m. he filmed a final bedroom vlog, hair slicked behind his ears, eyeliner half applied. "When this posts I'll be gone, but please know this was joy, not sadness. I'm Andrew now. Goodbye mom, goodbye dad." He stopped recording, finished the eyeliner, pocketed a tube of matte black lipstick and left. At 10:43 p.m. he pulled into the Weis lot, parked near the dimmest street lamp, and smoked a single cigarette, his second ever. He watched a moth flutter against the windshield, imagined its wings melting into ghost smoke, blew a shaky exhale, then slid the duffel from the trunk. A store camera captured him clocking in at 10 hours 52 minutes and 31 seconds. He greeted Victoria with a quiet evening, lifted a box of fruit snacks onto the candy aisle and wheeled a pallet of soda to the back. The store between midnight and dawn is its own universe. Fluorescent bulbs hum, refrigeration compressors pulse, and outside the highway traffic dwindles until only the occasional freight engine dopplers by. Brian updated price tags on the bakery kiosk at 11:12 and joked, "Phillies blew it again, you see that?" Randy nodded. Victoria bounced a price gun in one hand, telling Kristen Newell over Bluetooth about weekend bridal shower plans. Terry tacked romaine hearts, singing Mustang Sally under his breath. Meanwhile, Randy tested each emergency exit, noting which alarms buzzed, which doors clicked silently. He checked line of sight to each security camera, using the reflection in a freezer door to time their slow pan. At 12:06 a.m. he barricaded the rear door with a mountain of expired juice crates. At 12:14 he parked his Hyundai flush against the bakery delivery entrance. At 12:19 he wedged a garbage barrel beneath the pneumatic track of the main sliding doors, disabling the motion sensor. He then ducked into the restroom and recorded a mirror selfie 32 seconds long, eyeliner complete, lipstick vivid, Andrew's eyes. He texted his mother, "Box on desk, front label first." She would not see it until dawn. What follows survives in 3 sources: silent video, ballistic forensics, and one breathless 911 recording. Kristen's call begins at 12 hours 44 minutes and 2 seconds. 911, what's your emergency? There's a man shooting, Weis Markets, Route 29. Are you safe now? Not safe, he's in here, he shot. Oh my god, Victoria's down, I think. Brian? Ma'am, stay calm. Where are you? Inside the building. Hiding, floral cooler, I can see him, he's reloading. Stay hidden, officers are on the way. Can you describe? It's Randy, black eyes, lipstick, he's shooting the deli. Loud boom in the background. Ma'am. He saw propane tanks, he's trying, he missed the glass. What's your name? Kristen, he's walking away. Oi, I'm going to crawl. At 12:46 a.m. camera over aisle 16 records Randy firing into a cereal display. At 12:47 another camera watches him pump rounds into propane tanks. The metal dents does not rupture. At 12:48 he strides through party supplies, blasts helium canisters that swim through the air hissing like underwater torpedoes. The timestamp reads 12 hours 53 minutes and 11 seconds when he strolls into the bakery, sits on a stainless table, opens the phone camera and speaks softly, "Souls delivered. Mission good." He slips the barrel beneath his chin, thumb brushes the trigger, recoil jostles the phone. Wyoming County deputies race up at 12:49 minutes earlier, but must circle the building hunting an entry. Their first radio exchange records. Unit 12 to dispatch, we have shots audible inside, glass break front entrance. 12, any visual on suspect? Negative. Doors blocked, requesting breaching tools. Copy, SWAT on route ETA 15. Victim outside, female, barefoot, lacerations, requesting EMS. Copy. Maintain perimeter. When they finally pry the loading dock door, they advance in tactical column through aisles strewn with torn chip bags, fallen displays, and fogging coolant leaking from shattered freezers. The deputy's body cam later enters the bakery. A single body in black jeans, lipstick smeared, mouth grotesquely expanded by recoil. The crime scene took 2 days to catalog. 4 officers shot panoramic stills of every pellet hole. Plastic markers numbered 59 spent hulls, each photographed, measured, and bagged. A civilian CSI tech mapped wads and choke pedals for trajectory analysis. An empty Benadryl bottle lay on the deli counter. In the break room, Randy's laptop still uploaded an 81-gigabyte archive titled finalghostdrop.zip. Investigators pulled the power cord to halt the transfer, cloned the drive, and sent a hash to the FBI's BU. Diary excerpts read like screenplay stage directions: 12:50 a.m. Victoria, 12:51 a.m. Terry, 12:52 a.m. Brian, then beneath in block letters, glass, fire, explosion. Another page, they will never see me bleed, the mouth exit is purest. Sketches depict the deli floor smeared with cartoon hearts. Autopsies concluded within 43 hours. The pathologist later testified that Victoria was likely unconscious before the second shot. Terry's spinal break halted all motor signals instantaneously. Brian bled out within 90 seconds. Randy's stomach contents revealed 35 intact diphenhydramine capsules and 2 energy drink logos. Funeral week turned Route 29 into a procession line. Local radio preempted music for eulogies. Elementary students released violet balloons for Victoria. The American Legion piped taps for Terry. A Navy chaplain read the sailor's psalm at Brian's graveside while his 8-year-old daughter clutched the flag triangles. While grief swelled, legal machinery churned. Weis Markets executives issued a memo, dated June 19, mandating de-escalation training for all managers, an anonymous threat report hotline, and security camera upgrades to 360-degree panoramic units with AI anomaly flags. Internal email threads show debate over whether to add off-duty police for night shifts. Corporate chose instead to contract a single unarmed guard. The Pennsylvania House Subcommittee on Public Safety convened August 8, 2017. The record shows testimony by Kristen Newell, voice trembling. I keep hearing the glass break, the beep of my register. I dream that aisle lights buzz out one by one. I want you to know the shooter told me nothing was wrong, but the store let him block exits for months. Pallets stayed there. Nobody asked why. Randy's parents, Warren and Lori Stair, gave a statement 2 weeks later. We grieve with the families. We saw our son drift into something we didn't comprehend. We begged him to see someone, but he said therapists couldn't treat ghosts. We are sorry beyond words. A psychiatric postmortem composed by Dr. Helen Carlin diagnosed schizoaffective disorder, gender dysphoria, and severe major depression. Her report notes, chronic over-the-counter antihistamine abuse likely compounded dissociative fantasies. Subject's writings reveal a near-religious fixation on death as portal. Key risk factors: social isolation, identity disturbance, prior self-harm ideation, were present without intervention. Civil litigation simmered for 3 years. In 2020, Weis Markets reached confidential settlements with the Brong, Sterling, and Hayes families, stipulating ongoing counseling funds and tuition for minor dependents. Media coverage lurched from shock to politicization. Cable panels argued gun laws, mental health, gender identity. Local newspapers ran Sunday essays titled, Our Quiet Valley's Dark Night. Social media hashtags trended for 48 hours, then gave way to newer tragedies. Memorials and legacy. The enduring echo of the 2017 Weis Markets shooting. In the years since that terrible night, the community surrounding Eaton Township has grappled with the pain and loss left behind by the 2017 Weis Markets shooting. The grief that swept through the region was palpable and profound, yet it gradually transformed into collective acts of remembrance, healing, and determination to prevent similar tragedies. Physical memorials and places of remembrance. Within months of the shooting, a grassroots movement took shape to honor the lives of Victoria Brong, Terry Sterling, and Brian Hayes. The site of the former Weis Markets store became a focal point. A memorial garden was designed and installed near the main entrance, carefully curated with native flowers, cherry trees, and benches engraved with the names of the victims. Each tree was selected for its symbolism: cherry blossoms, delicate and transient, evoking both the fragility and the beauty of life. Nearby, 3 bronze plaques stand side by side, each etched with a photograph and a brief tribute capturing the essence of the person it honors. Victoria's plaque speaks of her warmth, kindness, and her dreams of teaching children, a beacon of hope for the next generation. Terry's plaque honors his steadfastness, his years of service in the Navy, and the joy he found in family and friendship. Brian's plaque remembers his dedication as a father, his military service, and the laughter he brought to those around him. Visitors often pause silently in front of these plaques, leaving flowers, handwritten notes, and small tokens: dolls for Victoria, miniature flags for Terry, and sports memorabilia for Brian. These acts of personal tribute have become a quiet ritual, a way to maintain connection with those lost. Annual remembrance ceremonies. Every year on the anniversary of the shooting, June 8th, the community gathers at the memorial site for a ceremony known as the Lanterns of Light. As dusk falls, hundreds of people, family, friends, neighbors, first responders, and even strangers touched by the story, assemble with floating lanterns. These delicate paper lanterns, each inscribed with the names of victims or messages of hope and healing, are gently lit and released to drift down the Susquehanna River. The lantern release is accompanied by live music, often featuring local musicians playing somber melodies such as Hallelujah or Amazing Grace, and readings of personal reflections or poems written by survivors and loved ones. The glow of the lanterns shimmering across the river serves as a metaphor for light persevering in the face of darkness, a tangible symbol of remembrance that transcends words. The ceremony also includes moments of silence for contemplation, allowing participants to process their grief collectively and renew their commitment to supporting one another. Over time, the Lanterns of Light event has grown, drawing people from beyond the immediate community, uniting diverse individuals in shared mourning and hope. Community healing and support networks. In the aftermath, the trauma extended far beyond those directly involved. First responders recounted the difficulty of entering a scene filled with devastation, while local schools and workplaces felt the ripple effects of shock and anxiety. To address this, community organizations established support groups and counseling services dedicated to survivors, families, and witnesses. Ember Hope, founded by survivor Kristen Newell, became a cornerstone of these efforts. Through workshops, outreach, and advocacy, the nonprofit offers education on mental health awareness, the risks of isolation and online radicalization, and the importance of early intervention. Ember Hope collaborates with schools, religious institutions, and law enforcement agencies to foster resilience and vigilance. Local churches and community centers host regular meetings where people share their stories and build connections, acknowledging that healing is a journey requiring sustained effort. These networks have helped reduce stigma around mental illness and encouraged open conversations about safety and support. Corporate and legislative responses. Weis Market's corporate leadership, deeply affected by the tragedy, made several commitments to prevent future incidents. They invested in upgrading security infrastructure at their stores, installing panoramic surveillance cameras with real-time monitoring and AI-based anomaly detection systems. The company implemented comprehensive staff training programs focused on emergency preparedness, de-escalation tactics, and mental health first aid. Internally, Weis Markets developed an anonymous employee hotline for reporting safety concerns or suspicious behavior, ensuring workers have channels to raise alarms without fear of reprisal. The company also expanded employee assistance programs offering confidential counseling services. At the state level, Pennsylvania lawmakers convened hearings to examine gaps in mental health services and gun regulation, spurred in part by the lessons learned from the Weis Markets shooting. Although legislative change has been slow and fraught with debate, increased funding for mental health crisis intervention teams and school counseling programs emerged as priorities. These policy discussions continue to evolve, informed by the lived experiences of survivors and families. Media and cultural legacy. The shooting at Weis Markets became a case study in media discussions around mass violence, mental health, and the complex interplay of personal identity struggles and societal failure. Documentaries, news features, and scholarly articles have explored Randy Stair's background, seeking to understand how isolation and untreated illness can escalate to tragedy. The story also contributed to broader conversations about the portrayal of gender dysphoria and mental illness in media, emphasizing the need for nuanced, compassionate narratives that avoid stigmatization. Survivor voices like Kristen Newell's have helped reshape the dialogue toward prevention and empathy. Lasting psychological and emotional effects. The psychological aftermath remains palpable. For those who worked alongside Randy, the store that once felt safe now carries an invisible weight. Employees recount how even years later certain aisles or sounds trigger flashbacks or anxiety. Many choose not to work the overnight shifts, while others have left the retail industry altogether. Families continue to navigate their grief in private and public ways. The anniversaries of the shooting rekindle waves of sorrow, but also moments of communal strife. Annual remembrance events provide occasions not only to mourn but to celebrate the lives cut short and to honor resilience. Reflection, the human cost and the path forward. The 2017 Weis Markets shooting is not just a story of violence, but a tapestry of human experience. Of a troubled young man struggling to find his place, of innocent lives taken too soon, of a community fractured yet steadfast, and of ongoing efforts to learn and heal. This tragedy compels us to consider the importance of mental health support, community connection, responsible gun ownership, and workplace safety. It reminds us that behind every headline are stories of love, hope, and pain. The memorials, the annual lantern releases, and the nonprofit work rising from the ashes embody the human spirit's refusal to be extinguished by violence.